Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are talking with Kids Escaping Drugs, John and Ronny from Kids Escaping Drugs, and they're going to talk to you about what their program is and how it can help youth in our area. So John, can you just give us like a rundown of what Kids Escaping Drugs is?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. My name is John Bennett, and I am the face-to-face program director at Kids Escaping Drugs. I have been with Kids Escaping Drugs for about 4 years now, and I absolutely love it here. I get to work with some great young individuals, one of whom we'll get to talk to today, and Ronny. But what Kids Escaping Drugs is, especially my program, the face-to-face program, we're all about community outreach and education. We like to educate the community, both adults and adolescents, on the stigma of addiction. Usually when I ask somebody what they think a drug addict looks like, they describe the homeless guy underneath the bridge or Frank Gallagher from Shameless, and the list goes on, and that's simply not true in many cases. In many cases, the person struggling with addiction is the star athlete, the valedictorian, normal day in and day out kids, and Ronny's a prime example of that as well. So we like to kind of break that stigma. As well, the drug trends in Western New York, they evolve, they change constantly. So my team likes to stay on top of that and educate, workplaces, educate parents, educate adolescents as far as what to be on the lookout for and hopefully save a friend or family member's life. We're located on the Renaissance campus, which, as some of you might know, is a rehab facility for kids ages 12 through 20 who are battling addiction to drugs and alcohol. Now, the kids live here for anywhere for 3 to 6 months, and they get all their treatment here. They get their education here. If they're in high school, they have high school classes here. We have teachers here. They can get their TAS diploma here. You name it. They have art therapy, a lot of great programs. Now, one of the things we're seeing is sometimes our kids were going home, and maybe home wasn't the best place to go. Maybe mom and dad use, maybe they just fall back in with old people places and things. Maybe they have a great household, but they're able to manipulate mom and dad. So we created 2 halfway houses, basically, reintegration houses, and our kids live there. They sleep there, but during the day they're gone. Maybe not so much during all this COVID-19, but in standard times they're going to college. Many of them are going to ECC or Canisius. They're working jobs, but they're able to come back to a safe, supportive environment at the end of the day, and that's been key to see so many of these young adolescents succeed.
Very cool. And do they have to be living in one of your facilities to access your services?
No, they don't. And another thing I should mention is the ages for our inpatient treatment are 12 to 20. That is not the case for our reintegration for our halfway houses. We'll take kids, 25 years old even. We want to get them the right element of care. But no, they do not need to come right from those programs. Some cases they do. Other cases they're referred from outside entities, other organizations we work with. They just have to have at least some clean time. If they come from another program, it works out pretty well.
Cool. And Ronny, you've been part of these programs. Can you give us some of like your personal experiences with them?
Yeah, so a little bit about like my personal experience with Renaissance. I mean, it was just the whole time I was in the program, there was just always active, always doing things around the house, away from, our scheduled groups and stuff. We'd actually do a lot of activities, go to Bills games, go to Sabres games. Those were like a few of my favorite things to do. A couple of times we'd go ice skating, Bandits games, just a lot of stuff to keep us, while we're still programming and doing things like involving our recovery and stuff like that. We're also able to still be kids, still be teenagers, and still enjoy, normal things that any kid would do outside of, a structured program.
Very cool. And you work with Kids Escaping Drugs now too, right?
Yes. So I am an alumni. I do, travel with John and other, Kids Escaping Drugs face-to-face representatives. And I speak at schools. I tell them a little bit about my story and just share, some of my experience, strength, and hope with this youth, to really let them know what's going on and how, continuing down, a path of manipulation and different, obviously it's different for every kid. For me, it was, more of a lifestyle problem. I was kind of sucked into this lifestyle where, no one could trust me. I broke all ties with family, friends, and I basically, ruined my own image and, a lot of it involved drugs and, criminal activities. And, going down the line, I'm really happy where I'm at now. And a lot of that is thanks to Renaissance House and their program and their groups and they're definitely their one-on-ones with the counselors, because when you go in there, you meet with the counselor, you have individual one-on-ones, and that's a big part. And they not only help you, but they also bring in your family. They work with your family. They have groups between your parents, and that was a big place. That was a big void in my life that I had a very strained relationship with my parents. So these one-on-one meetings, with them definitely brought us back together, brought us to a good place. And, I honestly probably wouldn't be where I am today without the Renaissance campus.
We're super proud of Ronny and all the hard work he's put into it too. He's one of our most dedicated alumni when it comes to joining us on presentations. Ronny mentioned his involvement in the face-to-face program when he travels. We offer free, no-cost presentations to, like I said earlier, adolescents. We're in so many schools across New York State, workplaces, you name it, doctor's offices. Somebody calls us and they'll listen to us talk. We'll come talk to them free of charge. Now, we offer presentations on the stereotypes of addiction, our peer-to-peer presentation, which is what Ronny's involved in. That is big because students hear time and time again from adults, hey, look, don't do drugs. They have negative consequences, which is great. But at the end of the day, they're hearing that from teachers, guidance counselors, principals, SROs. And in my former career, I was a school resource officer, and I would constantly present to kids, high school and middle, on the effect of drugs. At the end of the day, I'm standing in front of them in a full police office saying, hey, drugs are bad. It really doesn't get across as much as when we're able to bring somebody who's lived that life, who's been in their shoes, who can say, hey, look, this isn't necessarily what will happen to you, but never in a million years did I think any of these consequences would happen to me. And they did. And kids have responded very well to that education. We also offer presentations on vaping for both students and adults. We have presentations face-to-face in the workplace, which educates adults on current drug trends. We have the dangers of the dark side of social media presentation for adults, which educates them on the dark web and cryptocurrency and how kids can sometimes buy illegal substances online and everything like that. And that's been received very well. But one thing I want to stress is all of our presentations are totally free. Before COVID hit us, we were on pace to reach about 50,000 people this year, which is phenomenal. It was a huge leap to where we've been in the past. And it's because dedicated employees and a huge shout out to a dedicated alumni base, and Ronny in particular, along with some of our other alumni, have been key in keeping that up and running.
It's a lot easier to personalize with the students, kind of like what John was saying. It's a lot different from your school resource officer coming in and saying, oh, kids, drugs are bad, because obviously that's their job. They're going to say that. But when they hear someone like me come in and say, listen, guys, I can really get on a personal level with them and be like, listen, guys, I was in the same seats you are, I'm only 21. Like a couple years ago, I was sitting in the same seats, listening to the same lecture. But when you actually experience it, when you actually, start to see the effects that these drugs have, a lot of kids now, they want to look at the party side of it. They want to, go to college, go to parties, and it's all fun and games, and it's a good time until, you start to get sucked into, the temptations of it. And then all of a sudden now, like on my end, you start losing friends, you start losing loved ones, you start losing trust, respect, and, eventually going down the path, it could eventually lead you to end up being incarcerated in institutions. And, and the end game is, end up dead.
Yeah, I might look like I'm still 18, 19 years old. I'm actually not. So that's where Ronny, he hit the nail on the head. It's so huge for adolescents to be able to hear it from somebody who's lived that life and is closer to their age.
Definitely. And I've never seen Ronny personally, but I have watched your other youth ambassadors at some schools I go to. And yeah, the kids that I see always get such, they really get a lot out of it, much more than they would, I think, if it was an adult coming to them and talking to them about it. So I think your guys' youth ambassador program is really, really awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And what's the best way for people to reach you if they want a youth ambassador?
Absolutely. We can be reached at Kids Escaping Drugs at 827-9462. That is 716-827-9462. You can visit our website at www.ked.org. I can be emailed at jbennett@ked.org. And I just want to stress too, we're available. If somebody needs to talk, whether that's a parent who's worried about their child or themselves, or niece, nephew, grandchild, or just an adolescent who's struggling, maybe wants to help themselves, or a friend, we do have program counselors available. We will talk to them. There's no cost for that. We just want to either help you ourselves or get you in the right direction and get help. Please reach out. If a parent finds something in their child's room they're concerned about and they're not sure what it was, shoot me an email, shoot me a call. We truly do want to help you.
Yeah, if I could just say one more thing too, is that like one thing that we're doing right now that John had just recently asked me about is something that they're doing with their social media. Is they're doing this kind of like outlet kind of presentation, and I want to talk a little bit about that, because I believe outlets are so important with the whole drug scene and the whole wrong crowd scene, because I always tell kids when I go to schools and stuff, like, you hang out with kids who are playing sports, you're going to want to play sports. You hang out with kids who do music, are into music, you're going to want to do music. But like me, like I hung around with a lot of kids that, sold drugs. So, because of that, I wanted to do those things. I thought that was cool. I thought that was, an easy way to get money. But, now I've worked on different outlets, and one of my biggest outlets is my music. I play guitar. I've put money into music. I put money into equipment, and, it's a whole nother realm, it's a whole nother rush. And I feel like if kids can find a better outlet, a healthier outlet, they're going to do a lot better. They're going to build a lot better relationships and, be a lot healthier.
Definitely. Very cool. I like that a lot. And you guys have social media accounts?
We do. We're very active on Facebook and Twitter. We also do have an Instagram and a LinkedIn as well. Like Ronny was talking, we started doing our face-to-face facts, know the truth. Every single Thursday, we're posting on a different topic. We have some of our alumni, some of our face-to-face staff, some of our residential staff from the campus talking as well. We're really, really excited about that and look forward to doing more of those. We also do a lot of other cool stuff on social media. And what I like is it really can showcase what Ronny said, the kids being kids. Our kids, they're here for treatment. And for many of them, it's very difficult. It's an entire change of life for them. They're in a totally new environment, and especially now during very difficult and unknown time with COVID, it's important for our kids to be kids. So we've done a lot of cool and fun activities, and I think our staff's done a really good job showcasing that on social media as well.
Very cool. I'll make sure that I put all of your Facebook, Instagrams, and websites in the YouTube description so everybody can find you really easily after watching this video.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Do you guys have anything else you want to add before we end?
Yeah, I'll just mention how COVID's kind of affected us here. We, being a residential treatment facility, some of our kids have no place to go. Some of them come in homeless. We're not turning anybody away. We have taken precautions as far as intake. We have a different process we're going through, but our intake counselors are prepared and are still able to get people in for treatment. They just go about it a little bit different now, and there's certain criteria they do have to follow. For our face-to-face program, as I mentioned, every single day we're going in and out of schools and businesses and workplaces. That's kind of not business as usual. However, we still are offering all of our programs. We're just kind of adapting in a virtual sense. So if somebody's interested in an early intervention where we meet with their family and kind of help them out, or a presentation or anything, reach out, because there's a lot of vaping alternatives we can do. I also just want to personally, on behalf of Kids Escaping Drugs, thank you, Liam, and Planned Parenthood for all that you guys do for the community and for us. We've had you guys do presentations for not only our staff, but also our clients over the years, our patients over the years. You guys do a phenomenal job, so I want you to know that we truly do appreciate that.
Thank you. Ryan, do you want to say anything else before we end out?
No, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I think we covered a lot. I think that the community can be very strong if we all really just work together. Different programs working each other, advertising for each other. We can really make a difference, spread the word, and get these kids who need help the help they need. Because many times kids who are struggling, they've built a wall. When I was struggling, I've built a wall. I didn't think I needed help from anyone. I didn't think that anyone could do anything for me. I could figure it out on my own. And I didn't want to share those emotions because, the day and age we live in, people are afraid to get judged. They're afraid to get criticized. They don't want to be called out on their stuff. They don't want to get exposed. And, reaching out to, Renaissance House, Planned Parenthood, for totally two different things that kids might be struggling with, they have resources, and they have, maybe they can't talk to their parents. Maybe they can't talk to their friends because of those fears. We give them an outlet, and I think that's very important for youth.
Definitely. It's so important for youth. I want to thank you guys both for joining me and talking to me for the last few minutes. I really appreciate it, and we will hopefully work together soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, cool. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks.